Beneath the soil of Xi'an, China, an army has been waiting for more than 2,000 years. Thousands of life-sized soldiers stand silently underground, each with a different face, different armor, and a different story. But this was never just an army. It was the final dream of China's first emperor, to continue ruling even after death. But this underground world did not begin when Qin Shi Huang became old. According to traditional accounts, Yingjiang became king of Qin at only 13 years old, and construction of his mausoleum began soon afterward. Most teenagers inherit a name, a family, or a responsibility. Yingjiang inherited a kingdom and began building a world for his own death. As his territory expanded, the mausoleum expanded with it. By the time he unified China, this was no longer simply a tomb. It had become an underground empire. For centuries, this underground army remained hidden. Then, in 1974, local farmers accidentally discovered broken pottery while digging a well near Xi'an. What they found shocked the world. A massive underground army was waiting beneath the earth. The discovery became one of the greatest archaeological discoveries of the 20th century. This is pit number 1, the largest and most impressive section of the Terracotta Army. Standing here, you are looking at thousands of soldiers arranged like a real battlefield formation. There are front lines, side wings, and supporting troops. But the most amazing detail is not the number. It is the individuality. No two warriors are exactly alike. Different faces, different hairstyles, different expressions. Some look young, some look experienced, some appear calm before battle. But how could ancient craftsmen create thousands of warriors without making every figure completely from scratch? The answer was an early form of mass production. Bodies, arms, legs, and other components were made using standardized methods. Craftsmen then customized the heads, hairstyles, mustaches, armor, and facial details. The result was remarkably efficient, uniform enough to become an organized army, but different enough to appear human. They may not be literal portraits of 8,000 individual soldiers, but together they represent the many faces of an empire. Pit number 2 is different. Instead of a huge formation, it reveals a more complex military system. Here you can see archers, cavalry, and chariots working together. Meet the kneeling archer, one of the best preserved warriors in the Terracotta Army. A Chinese saying goes, "If the sky falls, the taller ones will hold it up." And for him, it was almost true. When the wooden roof above the pit collapsed, the taller standing warriors took the first impact. But this archer stayed low and avoided much of the damage. His right knee and 2 feet also created a stable triangular base, making him difficult to topple. That is why, more than 2,000 years later, we can still see his armor, top knot, robe folds, and even the stitching on the sole of his shoe. Pit number 3 is much smaller, but archaeologists believe it may have been the command center of the army. This was not where thousands of soldiers fought. This was where decisions were made. A 4-horse chariot stands at the center, surrounded by guards. But one mystery remains. Where is the general? The commander of this eternal army has never been found. Beyond the soldiers, there is another incredible discovery: the bronze chariots. These were not ordinary vehicles. They were designed as the emperor's spiritual transportation after death. Thousands of tiny parts were assembled with incredible precision. Some parts are thinner than a modern coin. More than 2,000 years ago, Qin craftsmen created engineering masterpieces that still amaze us today. By now, it may seem that Qin Shi Huang built only an army for the afterlife. But the discoveries around his mausoleum tell a much stranger story. There are civil officials holding writing tablets ready to record laws and imperial orders. There are acrobats and performers, their bodies captured in dynamic poses. There are musicians, bronze waterfowl, and suits of stone armor too heavy for real combat. The emperor expected his afterlife to need administration, entertainment, ceremony, transport, and protection. His eternal world required soldiers, but it also required paperwork. Qin Shi Huang was not simply constructing a tomb, he was rebuilding the state beneath the earth. So why has the central tomb never been opened? The answer is not simply fear of traps, curses, or mercury. The greatest danger may come from the modern world itself. The terracotta warriors already taught archaeologists what exposure can do. Pigments, lacquer, wood, silk, paper, and other organic materials may survive for centuries in a stable underground environment, then deteriorate rapidly when air, light, and changing humidity enter. Ancient accounts describe rivers of mercury inside the tomb, and soil surveys around the mound have detected unusually high mercury levels, but no one yet knows exactly what remains below. Opening the tomb would satisfy centuries of curiosity. It could also destroy the very things people hope to discover. The unopened mausoleum is not a failure of archaeology. It may be one of archaeology's greatest acts of restraint. For now, the first emperor keeps his final secret. But Xi'an's story does not end with the first emperor. After exploring the underground army of Qin Shi Huang, the journey continues to another chapter of Chinese history, the golden age of the Tang dynasty. At the foot of Mount Li sits Huaqing Palace, a place famous for the legendary romance between Emperor Xuanzong of Tang and young Guifei. Their love story began in an age of incredible wealth, poetry, music, and cultural brilliance. But behind the beauty was a tragedy. When the An Lushan rebellion shook the empire, the emperor was forced to make a heartbreaking choice that led to Yang Guifei's death. Their story was later immortalized in Baizhu Yi's famous poem, The Song of Everlasting Sorrow. Today, this story comes alive through a spectacular outdoor performance combining music, dance, lighting, and the landscape of Huaqing Palace itself. After thousands of years of history, Xi'an also tells its story through food. Try roujiamo, biangbiang noodles, liangpi, and yangrou paomo. Because Xi'an is not only a city of ancient treasures, it is a city where history is still alive.